Right.
Let me close this up. Just 1 second. This just takes a minute. Perfect. So, I'm so honored to be meeting with you here today. And under this frequency a week before the solstice. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. After the eclipse, it's just sometimes the perfection is just uncanny, like you can't even put it into words. So I'd like to just take a moment to share with you just a tiny bit and just open this space up for you to go. So this is, I'm very grateful that you've accepted to experience this, what I call true transformation. And it is from what I have personally been going through myself from this year. And it's been a process of every single day, and a process in which I had to have my own inner cataclysmic collapsing, literally like hitting an in, and just bursting into every trauma, everything had surfaced finally. And what I've been guided with this, I had to wait 6 months then before I can be of service to others. So it's been a 6 months of taking off, no service to clients, no nothing, so that I can just then from here begin bringing it in assistance to others, but in the most simplest way, especially for my star seed workers, light workers, many of them are like that's very multidimensional, and kind of like really disconnected from the body. So and a few other things in here, but it's so simple, the process that we'll go through, and this Christ light that I will also take you through, which was guided. And this is part of the 30 days meditation my group is in. They'll go into 60 days, they go into 90 days. So you get to experience that as well. And I feel it would be, I just felt the guidance like it would be, it would be really profound.
Yeah, that's great.
But before we go to anywhere, it will start with you just sitting back, relaxing, and just start talking to you. Tell me where you are, what's in your field, and just start. And while I'm here, I'm just gonna listen for a little while. I'm just gonna sit back and listen, and you ramble on, and don't hold anything back. Anything in your mental body you feel you need to share, share it. Your emotional body that's come up, share. Physical body, share. I just want you to share. And this first 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's just you, and I'm just gonna listen. And from there, I will see which direction we're gonna go, because I will receive the guidance to take you to where we need to go. Okay, I'm just gonna sit back, have some tea, have some lemon, and you're just gonna talk to me.
Okay, I don't know if I could talk that much, but let's see.
That out first.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, you know, my situation with my two businesses. So still in that whole thing, you know, COVID's been good for Rising Phoenix, as it has for a lot of spiritual things, I think. It's been busier, but still, you know, not enough to, you know, fully get into this. And then Pause and Play has gotten busier for the daycare. But the pet sitting is still, people are just starting to travel. So that's part has been slower. It's coming back a little bit, but I'm trying to find an employee. I need another employee, one left for that. So that's been a little frustrating. Then I've gone through a couple people and nobody seems to have worked out. But anyway, so I'm almost wondering, I talked to my pet sitter that I've had for many years. And I told her, I said, maybe we should just cut out the vacation pet sitting. I said, can you make it on just the midday dog walks? Because it's such a hassle. It's like trying to find people. Nobody wants to go out at night and do the night visit. And just headaches. So she was surprised, I think, that I said that. And I was even surprised I said it. But I think it's like maybe the beginning of the, moving more towards rising, So I've had my Moldavite on. I was called to wear the Moldavite this past week. So I'm thinking maybe that's why. But so that's still going on. And I want to find a way that I can, maybe be in rising full time or whatever, So that's been on my mind. And then also with the real estate market, the way it is now, trying to figure out how my house can make me money. Right. I currently have roommates, and that's good because they're bringing in money. But they'll probably be leaving this summer sometime. We're not sure yet. But so I've thought about, you've never been to my house, but it's basically a split foyer, and it has, it's a single family house. Yeah. I sent you those pictures that time. So what I could do is divide it, the top and the bottom floor, and make it, either live in one and rent out the other, which would be good income, or I could rent the whole thing out to a family and kids and all that, and find something really cheap for me to live in. And then, or I've also thought about doing an Airbnb, and just rent it, weekly to people, either part or whole, whatever. I went, everybody's been talking about these RVs lately. And I went, my brother invited me to go to the beach, the other weekend. And he has a, vacation RV. But, seeing it and just seeing, the freedom of the people and how nice that is to just have one of those and just go wherever you want to go and, go to all these nice places and not have it. So it'd be nice to not, be tied down to businesses and do that too. So, so trying to figure all this out as far as what way to go with all that stuff so I can be more free. That's the goal, to be more free. I've been so tied down for so many years with these, but I love the businesses. That's the thing. I love them, but I don't have a lot of time to myself and things like that, So, so there's that area. Let's see what else. Still, like looking for that special person. And coincidentally, there's somebody that has been not really, I don't know how to explain it. More of a friend, but a little bit more, but anyway, but he took off about 8 months ago and left the area. And then he just actually showed back up yesterday. He's the type that doesn't tell you. I kind of knew he was here, but I didn't know. And so I wasn't too surprised when he showed up. But anyway, so, kind of what's going on with that, what that all is exactly, and let's see, just how to improve life in general. Health is great, as it always is, except that I've had a little more draw towards sugar and have not, actually it's June now and I haven't gotten off my Christmas extra. So I'm not happy about that. But, knowing what to do, of course, knowing, I was doing really good with fasting and doing all that stuff, but then you kind of fall off the wagon, So maybe a little bit of concern with that. Let's see. I think that's really everything. Kind of, I don't know, same kind of things in a way. Of course, always wanting to deepen my spiritual connection too. But yeah, I think that about covers it, really. Does that give you a good idea?
Use some things up. How does it feel just saying, okay, here's the plate. Here's just kind of like on my plate right now.
Right. Yeah. That's what's on the plate. That's the whole sections of the plate.
And as you shared it on the plate, when you verbalize it, it's on the plate. Can you see your plate?
Can I see my plate, like visually?
See it or sense it or feel the plate? Does your plate seem empty? Does it feel full? Does it feel halfway? What does it feel? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light?
It feels like a lot of different things going on, almost like a real plate where you might have your vegetables here and your rice here and your whatever, but then, but I like that. I like a lot of different things going on at the same time. So that's good to a certain degree, but then it also feels a little frustrating or a little heavy because some of these issues have been around for a long time. So it's kind of like I want to resolve them or have, move them, shift them in a little better way, Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we began. So when I hear somebody speak and they're just free floating speaking, there are a few things that you mentioned. One, the very first word that just came, this frustration.
Yeah.
Which is a very important energy.
Right.
That you are able to identify that's somewhere in your field. So if I were to ask you, when you say it feels fresh, there's like a frustration feeling, does it feel heavy to you? The frustration, does it feel like, because I can tell when you speak, there's this like, there's that, like, it feels like heaviness a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little heavy, but it's not like
devastating,
overwhelming. Yeah, it's not overwhelming or devastating. It's kind of like, you know how if you're carrying weight for a long time, and then after a while you don't realize that you're carrying it, you're used to it. Yeah.
Exactly. My next question is, when this frustration that you are speaking of, if I were to ask you, okay, Jacqui, where do you feel this or sense it in your physical body?
Where? And I don't know if frustration is too strong of a word. It might be more like
just go with it.
Yeah, but you know what you're saying.
Different, because we're gonna start to have this untangled, because here's this like a little bit of tangle. One part of it right now, we touch frustration. You're going to see it ties to other things. So we untie a little bit right now.
Right. Where do I feel it in the body? I feel like more like the whole chest.
Yes.
I would say from neck to maybe
abdomen.
Yeah, solar, maybe somewhere around solar, somewhere like that. Yeah.
And what about right here? What about also just right here?
I used to carry, I mean, I guess I still do a little bit, but like I used to carry a lot there to the point where I had pain. And ever since I started doing Qigong, which I don't do enough, but when I did the Qigong, it got rid of it and it never came back. So I don't know.
And definitely like from here, because that's where that is.
Yeah, right.
So frustration. So that's just what right now we're just tipping, we're just touching like a surface right now, because this
Right.
is playing out on your outer field, right? So your outer field, there are these things that are sitting on this plate, and this plate is really your frequency field. It is sitting in your spiritual body, in your etheric body, in your mental body, in your emotional body, and in your physical body. It's sitting there because you're able to, first, because you're in tune, you're able to see there's some heaviness sitting in here. And this heaviness is always because it's a little bit tangled. So this process is a bit of untangling. But untangling, I'm not going to come in there and untangle it for you. We don't work this way. This is, we're just going to come meet with it so it begins to naturally untangle as we're able to meet it. So also tell me this. So it's a little bit of here. So there's like when there's a bit of heaviness here. So there's a heaviness on the chest, heaviness on the heart, heaviness on the solar plexus. It's just like a weight, right? Okay, so tell me this weight. Weight feels like what? A pressure, slight pressure.
Um, I am not the best one of feeling things in my body. So,
That's why we're doing this.
right. So it's hard for me because I don't feel a lot. I feel it's very slight.
Yeah.
So,
But you can feel a bit of the pressure, right?
yeah, yeah. But it's almost like maybe a blanket being over you. It's not a lot. I don't feel a lot. It might be there, but I don't feel a lot of it.
Okay.
That firmly. Yeah.
Sure. So one of the things with this that I like to share, Jacqui, is that many of us star beings, star seeds, we have learned, we have learned to not be in our body.
Mhm.
Coming into this incarnation has been very heavy being here. And our natural, easier tendency is to very quickly, as much possible, leave the body and be disconnected, as much disconnected with the body. And that ties into the physical body, but the emotional body, because the emotions, especially the heavier emotions, can impact people. But with star beings, star seeds, it impacts us so much greater. Our sensitivity is by far greater. So as a result of it, something that may impact somebody like this, for us, it impacts it even greater. As a result of it, we've learned very early on to disconnect. But what happens is that over the years, this disconnect, what happens is that the energy emotion, especially a lot from our childhood, has been stored in the mitochondria, in our in the fascia and mitochondria, in that cellular memory. So later in our adult years, in this now particularly, because our light codes have expanded, because we are much more closer to our inner being, the inner being has called, and we're closer to the presence. So what happens is they're much more visible and accessible, and they're seen. So then they show up in our outer field. And we finally have the opportunity to actually meet with what's been stored, not now. It's not now. So let's go a couple of things like this thing with the business of the dogs and then the rising phoenix.
Mhm.
This kind of like trying to decide what to do. I can tell you right now, it's surfaced, and you've known this for a while, and there's this sort of like a circular thing, not a spiral, but a circular, because it's not about now. It's about somewhere we go back, just this incarnation, not even other incarnations. In the childhood, this stuck energy where there were these choices to make, and which one to go. Which one should I put this? No, I kind of want to do both, but I don't want to give 100% to this, but I want to and then there were emotions with it. So now it's really here for you to be able to truly choose, because that's what liberates you, and that's what lifts this. So let's go, and there are a few other things you shared. So, and these are all part of life. But finally, here's the space where it can be met. So, if I were to ask you, let's just start with, like, let's say here's this rising phoenix, which ties into your both of them are your passion, for sure. You have passion in both, but there's this energy. There's an energy. I can give energy to this, or I can give energy to this, or I can give energy to both, you know? But whatever energy you give is what grows. So you can grow them like this, or you can put one grow like this, or this one grow like this, you know? So it's that space. And sometimes it is, I'm afraid to give my full energy to one.
Mm-hmm.
That would to keep me safe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I am sensing is more.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
Yeah, mainly the the financial.
Okay, so it's the financial. So the financial is safety. So let's go. Can I have you invite you as you relax back? Let's go back to not Jacqui in her 30s or 20s, not teenager. Let's go back to Jacqui, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, somewhere there, Jacqui. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sort of just scan and see, were there situations where there were choices to make,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to do this or you wanted to do this, but you kind of wanted to do both, but you were afraid to fully do one? Or is there something like that that is available for you to share with me?
Mm. Um, let's see. I don't really remember, much below 12. So I don't know. And then, parents divorced at about 14. So there wasn't really, I was always going to stay with my mom. So that wasn't really a choice. A short while I did stay with my dad, but it was never a choice. I mean, I just did it. It wasn't like, what should I do? Trying to think.
So interesting, before 12, you don't have much memory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep you there for just 1 second. And I know you also, as a healer, you already know this. As children, sometimes we block a lot because whatever took place, we had to, as a protection, we block it because it was actually emotionally very painful, whatever the circumstance, situation, encounter was. So we blocked it so tight, put it on the side,
Mm-hmm.
and um, as basically the protection.
Yeah. Right.
But it runs in our life, throughout
Mm-hmm.
our life somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we catch it, but sometimes often we don't. But when we get to our state of consciousness, we recognize, okay, there's a reason that's been blocked.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not remember it all, but
Mm-hmm.
the one
Yeah.
thing I know, it ties into some kind of trauma,
Right.
kind of trauma.
Right.
Had to shut this. So now
Right.
okay. The one clue you have is, okay, so it's this parents' divorce, and we know there's, when the parents go through divorce, children experience a lot of things.
Right.
right? A lot of emotional things.
Right.
So, and then you don't know what to do with it. Who knows what happened? So, right now, before 12, you can't quite remember. But let me just take you. Do you have a bit of memory? Like, let's say kindergarten, first grade, second grade, school, playground, teacher,
Um,
where you lived? Do you
yeah.
remember?
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember where I lived. Yeah. Yeah, I know where I lived.
Did you live in a house, an
Yeah.
apartment?
Yeah, we lived in a well, we lived, let's see. Um we were in Maryland until when I was 2, we moved to Virginia because they wanted to raise the kids in the country.
Okay, so you were in the country. So you're in the kind of like land, grass, and all of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had almost an acre, and so we had well, not at first. First, we moved into a townhouse, and yeah, and then a single family house, and then at 7, I moved into what I consider. I don't remember those too much. At
Okay.
7, or 6 or 7, we moved into my like what I consider my childhood home,
Okay.
and it was a real big, like 5 bedroom. It was an A-frame, so it was a different kind of thing.
Yes.
And that was the big yard, and then the fun neighborhood where we would hang out with friends all day, and when we weren't at school, and play and do all that stuff. So
So that you remember. And let me ask you, you have one brother or did you have more siblings?
just one. Yeah.
Older, younger?
Younger.
How many years younger?
4.
Okay, so 4 years younger. So you're
Yeah.
like a sister.
Right. And so we were very close, really from the time he was born, because my mom made us that way. She would always engage me, like, help with, changing the diapers, help with this, this is going to be your, your baby too, or something, like, not really your baby, but, and so I was always.
Responsibility was placed on you.
Yes. Yeah. But she stayed home until I was 10. So she was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
So, I didn't have to do anything really, but she just wanted me to be kind of involved. So that I would be, and that tended to work, because we were always, the memories I have of my brother when we were little is that we loved to go play in the creek, because we were both so connected to nature. And then of course, later I found out we were like Indian lifetimes together. And so we loved to go play in the streams and just catch frogs and things like that. We did all that stuff. So, so my brother and I were always very close. But once I started getting into, a little older and into the spiritual stuff, which he brought the family into, but now he doesn't, so he kind of.
20s or in teenage years?
Well, he first introduced it to us when I was about 6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
Because I think I told you that story about him drawing a stagecoach.
Okay.
And then it was like, and then my mom looked into it and realized there's past lives and all that. So, but so little by little we got into things. He was seeing spirit when he was young, and he would say things like, "Why were you in my room last night?" And I said, "I wasn't." And my mom would say, "What happened?" And he would say, "I saw you by my bed praying." And it turned out it was my grandmother who had passed and whatever. So he was very tuned in. So he kind of opened everybody up to that stuff. And then my parents started looking into things. But then, as we got older, of course, he stopped doing that and got into regular boy things. And I started going into my stuff. But I stayed with it. And my mom and I stayed with it. And then, had my first healing class, my early 20s. And stuff like that. And so he went a totally different way. And that's when we started kind of growing apart, because he didn't understand why I liked this stuff and why I wasn't normal. Yeah. So, but other than that, yeah.
And what about your dad? Tell me right about that age. Your brother is bringing this, your dad and your mom and dad. From what you remember, was your dad into this? Your dad was more disconnected?
Right.
It was like,
no, he actually was curious about it when things started happening. We had my aunt go in for an operation and die on the table and come back, and so they had that. So my dad started getting curious about what happens when you die. So he started actually reading the Seth books.
oh wow.
Yeah, way back then. So he tried to get. Yeah, he tried to get my mom to read them, and she didn't. She was too cryptic for her, so she didn't. She wasn't as interested. But and then once he found out, you know, what happens when you die and all that, he was like, okay, I knew there's something else. I knew, you know, and then that was it. He kind of left it alone. He just had that's curiosity was satisfied, but he was always spiritual in his way, but not really outwardly, you know.
Right. Practicing active, but just connection was there. And
Right.
what was the line of work he was in, Jacqui?
He was in he got his accounting degree and he was an accountant for many years. And then, but he always wanted to do real estate. So about the time that I was born, he started getting into real estate, and that's what he really wanted to do. So he did that, and that's what he stayed with until he died. So, so yeah, that was good. And yeah.
So there's the father, and then you have your mom. So let me just ask you this. Your mom was stay-home mom for those first 10 years. Then she went on into working. I just want to grasp that part as well.
Yeah, she decided, because I think, you know, my dad had, we never had, we always had enough money, but, you know, I did hear a lot, you know, we don't have enough for that. We can't get that, you know, whatever.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah. So I remember that, you know, having that, and my dad, you know, would start these businesses, and sometimes it was really tough. So he wanted her to go back to work because he needed the help to, you know, so so she did that for a while. She did real estate, and then she did other just office jobs and things, you know. And then they ended up, what happened, I think, was that my dad kind of went through a little bit of a midlife crisis, but he wanted my mom to go into real estate, and he wanted to be partners. And my mom thought, why would we put all our eggs in one basket? She was scared about that. So she thought, no, I'll do something different. That way, you know, yeah.
Did
So
you hear that as well?
what?
Did you just hear what you just said?
Yeah, I kind of did. I did. When that happened, yeah, when I said I kind of put.
This is why I'm having you speak, because once you relax, you say, did you just make that connection?
Yep, I did. I did. Yep. The choosing and the yeah.
Because a lot of it doesn't come from here. It's somewhere in those early years,
Yeah.
somewhere in our cells, we adopted that, and it's stored. It's stored and it's playing out. Because that was your mom's concern, truly, and your father's like concern with the money. That's not the truth of you here in this now.
Right.
Not the
right.
Light
Yeah, and right.
At all. It's the farthest from the truth of what Jacqui is. But that part is still playing in your bodies. So you can now meet it so that it doesn't run. So let me just before we go to another one, because you were able to just see that connection real quick as you spoke it. So give me a second here. This is what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, Jacqui.
Okay.
Take a deep breath in. And breathe it out through your mouth. Take another one. It feels good. Just really there. And one more time, please. Good. So I'm going to bring you to this Jacqui at age about 9 or 10 years old. You just move towards in that house with your brother that's about 6, and your mom is in that place. Your dad is also in real estate. Dad wants your mom to work with him, and your mom is concerned, you know, from her place. And here you're just in that place. And you being the older daughter, responsible, you are just observing this sin. You've been observing this concern of your mom, concern of your dad. And I want the little girl in you, the little Jacqui, 9-year-old, maybe even 8, 9, 10-year-old Jacqui. I want the 9-year-old Jacqui to just take a deep breath in and release, breathe out. And I want you, the older Jacqui that I'm speaking to be there as the mother for your 9-year-old Jacqui and comfort her. I want you to put your hands around 9-year-old and tell her that she doesn't have to be worried about anything. Her job is just to play and have fun with her brother, catch the frogs, run around, and that it's not her responsibility to carry this consciousness that the parents are working through, that you overheard, or you thought maybe you'll take on greater responsibility. I want you to just breathe into that and breathe out as your little 9-year-old just breathe and a little bit lighter. But her only job is to play, be safe, that she's protected. All the support is there for her. Not just the roof over the head, but joy and thriving. And everything she ever wants is available to her as you, the older Jacqui, can really support that energy. Breathe into that. Breathe it out. Tell me what's happening. Tell me what you experience. Tell me if your breath feels a little lighter, chest feels a little lighter, shoulder. And tell me what you're sensing, experiencing, feeling, seeing, Jacqui.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because I forgot to tell you that when I came in as a little kid, I felt responsible for my parents and my brother. I felt like I was the head of the household. So I guess that's why I took on more of the burden. And the other thing was that my father, I was always very much like my father, right? So we just had this connection that we never really spoke about. We just knew we were alike, those kind of people, and in the ways we thought about things and stuff. But I always was more, I got along better with my mom, and I did more things with my mom, and my mom was more opposite. And so we were together all the time. I was not around my dad a lot because he was always busy running businesses. So, and that's what I'm doing now. So, but
and wait a second. So, and you're busy. Look, just 1 second. Busy running around running businesses, but you're not there for your inner child either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, I can see where I've tried not to become the workaholic that he was, but I could see where he was so much more the risk taker, like I am. I'm more the risk taker, like, oh, let's start this business, get business ideas all day long, every day. If I had tons of money, I'd probably have 10 businesses, and that was the way he was too. So, but of course, mom was more, worried about the kids and the food and so, and that didn't want to take that risk. And so when she didn't want to take that risk with him, he pretty much, I guess, checked out of the marriage and found somebody that would, so, cause that was his dream, was to have a business partner and a wife, so.
So isn't it interesting? Isn't it fascinating? Can you, I'm wondering if you can see this like bigger now, because it is in here. So there is this energies carried on for many, many, many years, and in this duality, and there's this fear, if I do this, then like it ties into divorce, it ties into hurt, it ties into this, that I might fail in something. But
Right.
it's not yours, it's what played out in your parents.
Right. Yeah.
And you see it so clear in
Yes.
front of you.
Yeah. And I've never even thought about it before. Yeah.
No,
I've never thought about it before.
no, because it's stored in your mitochondria.
Yeah.
But once you see it now, then you have like that. I can see inside you have that light bulb. Oh my gosh! Like,
Right.
now I'm going to bring you back to your body. Tell me about your body. Does your body feel lighter?
Yeah, I think it does feel a little lighter. Yeah.
Take a breath for me. Tell me, is your breath? How's your breath? Does it feel there's more room in there?
Yeah, it feels more clear, and yeah.
What just happened?
Right. Well, it's like an aha, it's like an aha that you realize you're carrying your parents' burdens, the parents' worries, the parents' indecision, the parents' doubt, all that.
And where is that? That's in your physical body,
Mhm.
emotional body, mental body, etheric body. It's in your bodies, so
Mhm.
it feels heavy.
Yeah.
Because as you feel like a few times, because there's
Yeah.
a bit of heaviness.
Right.
But the minute you meet where
Right.
the true cause is,
Right.
boom, it opens up in your field.
Yeah. And my dad went on to become more successful and finally have plenty of money. And my mom stayed poor all her life. And I think because I was so close to my mom, we were always so close. Like
You
best.
wanted to be here as well.
Yeah. So for me, yeah, it's like, well, I could see where I would have thought in my mitochondria, oh my gosh, don't take risks, watch out for money. You got to be careful about money because we didn't have enough. And then that caused a divorce. And then look what happened, and bad things. And yeah.
So that's been all of that. So then when it's in the mitochondria, it also then goes into your fascia system.
Mm-hmm.
See, then the body gets, certain areas get tight because it's not moving. The energy flow is not moving properly.
Mm-hmm.
So now, here's the other thing. One very key point. Tell me right in this also, tell me about your pets. Did you have pets?
Yes, I had a pet from when I came home from the hospital. Yeah, there was always a dog in the house.
Okay, so here comes the dog. Okay, so tell me about the role of your dog. From there, you moved to the townhouse, then this house you were in on the farm with your brother. Tell me about this dog. Dogs.
I don't remember the early ones when I was real young. I just remember mom saying we had dogs, but
Okay.
the one I remember was, I don't know when we got her, but she was like the dog I think of as growing up, and she was just always there. She was very sweet.
What was
Amy.
your dog?
Amy, because I named her after a best friend or something like that. But anyway,
So wait a second.
but yeah.
Can you see that?
No, naming her after the best friend. Oh, because she's like a best.
Okay, it was like best friend. I named her. It was always their best friend. Where are you now? What do you have?
Right.
Dog comfort, like a best friend.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Emotionally. Do you see?
Yeah. I even have that in the catch line where your dog's what is it? Where your dog's best friend makes friends or something like that.
Carried this up until here, my dear sister. Do you see this now? Isn't this incredible?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's like, but what was the other thing I was seeing? Oh, it was kind of unrelated, but when you were talking, I've always wondered why I just carry a little bit of extra weight, like 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and now I bet you that's what it is. It's carrying my mother's fear and worry about money, or who knows what, or men leaving or starting businesses, who knows,
You start to see this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I always wondered what it was. But I think energetically, that's it, So hopefully that, yeah. Wow. Because I know.
Because once you see it, you're like, what? Does it not seem or feel like suddenly you're shedding things out of you?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I eat healthy most of the time, and I exercise, pretty well. And yeah, I just never understood why it was there, but I knew it was some kind of protection, but I didn't know what kind. I was thinking it was more from male protection, but no, yeah, it's probably my mom. Yeah.
But you that responsibility.
Yes.
So here's the other part. Like you coming in this incarnation, choosing your mother and father, and this thing playing out, it also gave you the opportunity to take on responsibility. Is one of the virtues of God. It's very powerful because when there's something that takes place, there's a response and then there's the ability. It's two parts, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're able to answer that call, you're able to address it, there's a sense of empowerment because your ability comes in. Now, there's a double sword edge to this because we sometimes take it for others versus ourselves. And that's where that burden then carries. And then we make a life journey of that versus taking on the true responsibility for our true calling. You see?
Yeah.
That's that. Then that brings you to hear Jacqui now. So Jacqui, look at it, is there really a dilemma between the dog, or the phoenix the rising phoenix where your heart is? Like, is there really a dilemma here?
Right. Well, that's really interesting that you say that, because to add on to this, the other part of the story is, I had my mom come live with me, and she lived with me until she passed away. And my brother even told me, he said, you have to get her out. You have to be separate from her. I was taking care of her in a way. I think when the divorce happened, I thought I had to take care of her. Yeah. And it prevented me from having probably a relationship and all kinds of things. And my brother said, you're never going to find a man. You've got to get her out of the house.
Your own joy.
Yes. I blocked my own joy.
But what happened? Because as a child, you took on that responsibility, which for your little girl, that's the part for you to just feel her. You can cry with her, let her, and thank her that she's been exhausted all these years. She took on. It wasn't her responsibility. Ever.
Right. Yeah. And then what did I do? I made her open 2 businesses Here, my dad was pushing her to do businesses, and then I do it.
And then you don't even meet her. Do you know what I mean? Then it's like, okay, I'm going to put you, lock you in the closet, you know, and not have you play more. So somewhere inside doesn't feel good. There is a misalignment with that, right? Because
Mhm.
it's not flowing, it's not harmonized. And we all do that. But this is part of us becoming very aware. So we unload these other things that we have carried, but we didn't know we've been carrying it. Because
Right.
once that light shines that we've been carrying it, then you can make different choices because it becomes crystal clear. Now, I'm going to ask you just from this before we go any further. I want you to look at your plate now. How does your plate look? From before we started to where we are just in this now.
Right. I can't get real clear on it, but it feels lighter. It feels, I got the word possibilities.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
So it feels lighter. As you're holding the plate, does the plate feels like heavier? It feels lighter in holding.
Feels lighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like more instead of frustration and what am I going to do, or be dealing with it's more possibility.
Okay, let me ask you, is the possibility tied into a bit of a spark of a joy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and play.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know. And all those readings I've had for 20 years, they say, play more. And I'm like, I am. I really thought I was. I wasn't.
It's the little girl. The little girl has been busy, responsibility versus out in the yard with the frogs playing. She became an adult way too early.
Yep. I see that now. Yeah. And that explains why both of my parents died, thankfully, very quickly. I mean, it sounds awful to say that, but you know what I mean? And so once I got through the grief, it was like a relief, It's like a relief.
Yes.
Because even though you miss them and you love them, but it was probably, I don't have to take care of them anymore.
Because you can finally be you.
Yeah.
That little girl can be free.
Right. But yet I wasn't free because I didn't know until now that I was still carrying this burden. Yeah. So that explains it. Yeah. Wow.
So let me ask you a question. If I were to ask you to close your eyes, Jacqui, and I'm going to bring you back to that 8-9-year-old Jacqui once again. I want you to go back to that house, on that land. Water is there, your brother's there, frogs are there, your dog Amy's there, mom and dad are doing their thing, So I want you to just go there and I want you to breathe. Breathe out. And I'm going to ask you, as the adult Jacqui in this now, to ask little Jacqui, the 9-year-old, 8-year-old Jacqui, what she would have liked instead. What she would have preferred instead. And I want you to tell me what is coming up. What are you sensing, hearing, seeing? Just go with it. Yeah, and let the tears come.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is beautiful. There is the transformation. Tell me.
I would have preferred just to be a kid and not feel responsible for everybody. And just to play every day. And I do remember having my rocks. I loved my crystals even back then. And just find my crystals in the streams and everywhere and play with my crystals and be talking to spirit, tuned in. And to have my parents, from my perspective, instead of feeling like I was taking care of them, that even though they were taking care of me, but I thought I was taking care of them, to feel like they were taking care of me instead.
I preferred like they were real parents, really
Yeah.
taking your needs. So you can
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's
they,
just the
yeah.
tears to come.
The tears are just, if my dad would have been, I would have preferred for him to be a little more present and take more interest in doing fun things with us, and just being a father that's there and part of the family.
And tell me about your mom.
And
What
what?
would you have? And tell me about your mom. What would you have preferred? Staying that 9-year-old. What does the 9-year-old would have preferred? Like, because I want you to say what you would have preferred. And
Well, she was like the ideal mom. Yeah, I mean, in many ways. I mean, she was always like, baking cookies, and she was like that mom. Um, Always doing little craft projects, always doing fun things. She like, she entertained us. She was just like, she was like the perfect mom in so many ways. Um, but I guess maybe the part of me that maybe felt her pain, later, and felt her worry and everything. I took that on, not knowing it.
so what I'm going to have you still focus that 9-year-old. I want you to give permission to your 9-year-old to say, like you did, what she preferred. Just like you said in the beginning, she would have preferred, like, she wouldn't have the responsibility. She would have played more. Maybe, ate more of those cookies or made more crafts or played with the crystals and all that. Because those
Right.
are things then that she enjoyed so much.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, all of that stuff, just, being creative. And I always loved, she said I was the best child because I would just go in my room and just color or do whatever I was doing. And I was just happy just being by myself all the time. And, just, I don't know what I was doing. Yeah, I was probably out of body, but just probably more of that. But what's coming up for me, if I can go back a little bit more, because I remembered my mom saying, well, two things. And I feel like this maybe plays in because it's coming up. Well, one, I was trying to decide which to say first, but one is when she was carrying me, she, the pregnancy, well, first she had trouble conceiving. And so finally she did after like 2 years. And then, because she really wanted children. And finally she conceived me, but she was sick the whole time that she was carrying me. And it was sick from like nausea, but it was like she couldn't keep anything down. She actually lost weight during the pregnancy. So she just couldn't keep it. And I remember asking her about this, and she thought it was due, she had a lot of fear and nervousness that she wasn't going to be a good mom.
Look at that. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then also, I feel like this is relevant in some way because she had the love of her life that she met when she was like 15 or 16. And she was in Mexico. She wanted to be an exchange student. And she went down there and met this man. He was a doctor. He was 10 years older.
Oh, wow.
Very wealthy family and the whole thing. And he wanted to marry her. They both were, I mean, it was just like, a true, true, true love, type of thing. But of course, her father, here said, what are you doing? You can't do this. You're 15, you're, she went back every summer for a few years. And he even came back when she was 30 after she had my brother and wanted to start a relationship.
Wow.
And my mom said, being very loyal, she said, well, no, I, now I've had 2 children with this man. I have to stay with him and da, 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 da. But she regretted it for the rest of her life.
Wow,
And
I get this. Wow.
she always told me, you know, when I asked her about meeting my dad, she was like, well, I was tired of being single and I really wanted to have kids and I was getting older and I just, you know, your dad came along and he was funny and he was handsome and so I just married him. And she said, but the love developed over the years, but it wasn't her true love.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You brought this up. This is super significant. Can you see? Can you see? Because you feel it's connected somehow, but what do you see that's connected to you now?
Yeah. A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. The fear, I feel like the fear in the womb, you know, and the nervousness of everything and not being good enough, not having enough, whatever, you know. When she was like the best mother around, everybody said what a fantastic mother she was, you know. So
You breathe into that illusion into you now, into your womb. I need you to breathe into your womb now. And breathe out that illusion that you have carried for so long. Breathe it out, sister. Breathe it out. Breathe it out of your mitochondria. Take deep cleansing breath from Great Spirit. Breathe it into your fascia. This is no longer yours to carry. No, you release and you let it go. You're allowed to be free with this.
it just occurred to me that because she was always, I always felt stronger emotionally than her. So I think when I was born, I naturally stepped up to take care of her because I sensed this weaker. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the denier of love.
Yeah.
So that plays in your life.
Yeah. Mm.
Girl, sister, will you give yourself permission to not be afraid to love?
Yeah.
You don't have to carry this anymore. Can you breathe?
To not block it. To not block it.
And that you're safe to love.
Yeah. Because why would she do that? Why would she? I mean, there was many years that went by that she was an adult. She could have taken up with him. I think he married at one point, and I don't know.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that somewhere in you, you've carried this as an energy field in you.
Yeah.
And this is not your truth. This is not your story. Your story is you're fully allowed to be loved. Allowed to love.
Mm-hmm.
And you are perfectly safe to be with the love of your life and nothing to fear. Breathe that out. Let it go. Breathe it out. Those are all the stories of your mom.
Yeah.
Womb. It doesn't have to be in you anymore. No more in you. No more in your inner child. No. No more Jacqui. Open the door of that closet that little Jacqui's been in for a very long time. Open. Let her run into that field. Let her run. Run with her hands open, feet. And promise her she'll never be put in the closet again.
Yeah. And I remember I would take on, mom had a lot of fears about different things, you know, like heights and different things. And I would help her. Like I took on my personal mission to help her overcome fears. I was like a light worker from the moment I came out, I guess. But I also noticed that her father, she would tell me stories of him delighting in scaring them and causing fear, little things, but he would do stuff to make them fearful. And so that's probably where a lot of her fear came from. You know, he thought he was being funny and stuff, but it was like, no, you know.
Right. Good. Take another deep breath.
So all this time I was trying to heal her.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what you see. You see how perfect it's been. Still the dog business, the thing, because your inner Jack is calling the sense still, and the relationship and that and safety of a house. You see all of this?
Yeah.
Everything that we first begin, the first 10 minutes ties into all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not separate. It's so
Right.
it's one thing, not 100 things. It's just little Jacqui.
Right. Which is caused, yeah, and that's caused me to be more masculine because I took on all these problems and I took on the responsibility from such a young age, you know, of caring for everybody emotionally, I guess, or whatever, you know, and took on all that. And
See, and that's where that's stored. See, now we're in a place where you can be that great space holder, the mother, as a true mother for little Jacqui.
right.
Each and every day.
Yeah.
Minutes. You know,
Right.
I'll tell you something. Like, so this is my uni gold, but when I go to bed at night, I hold her palm and she sits next to me because I've had to, like yesterday we went on the playground, that the playground I used to take my kids to with Michael. Michael wasn't feeling good, took him there. We started playing, like going down the slides, all of this. But she goes to bed because at nighttime, as silly as it is, and I have a grown man next to me, you know, but I have honored my little girl, little honey, feels safe, feels really good when I hold this. It's part of her that she never received.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
Yeah.
this is the time that you can be the great space holder, the great mother for that little Jacqui. And it goes back a little bit further. And you open that so she can be free. Listen, with the dog doesn't have to take that responsibility anymore either.
Right. Right.
You're both free. So this energy can move forward and you can pour the energy to the rising of your wings in your phoenix, right? So you
Yeah.
can 100% put the energy to what brings you the highest joy, because it is in that joy the abundance is stored. The abundance releases through that. It's already there. You don't have to work for it. It just is. And thank God 2020 has given you enough for you to see. But it just becomes the matter of your choice.
Right. Right. So why did I kind of, I assume this was on my path to experience this with my parents. Why did I do that? Just so that I could be a strong motherly. I mean, I feel like I'm a mother to so much because of all the pets, all the people at Rising Phoenix. You know.
Mother energy, and the mother energy is God's energy.
Yeah.
We come to this incarnation to experience things, so then we give rise, right? So then we can be an expression of it. But what happens is we are now at a place where we can't carry the story, the energy of the story in us, because that part is now ready to leave us, so that the fuller expression can lead, but in freedom. The first thing you said to me today when we started, you said, I want to be free.
Yeah.
You are free.
Yeah.
Nobody's holding you but you.
Yeah.
And free, where does it come from? That inner child when she's been trapped.
Yeah.
And now she's free.
Yeah, she's free.
It's that simple. See, one of the things that I learned, again, like you and I, So me as a TransMedium, TransChanneler, this, that, talk to so many entities, gods, like, I don't know, spirit guardians and masters, whatever. This thing that I've gone through 6 months out of my years of healing is something else, because it's so simple.
Right.
And it's right here, because they're watching, they're observing, they're not going to come help. That's where you see I don't call anything in, no protection, nothing, because you are everything. And all it is, we got to come to right here where it's been stored in the physical template, because that freedom has to come from that. And that's where the spirit of the Christ light within is.
Mm-hmm.
See how simple yet profound. I feel like this is the most profound work I've ever done for myself.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. And I feel
And
like maybe I chose to, go ahead.
yes, and true transformation, because see, with this, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Yet it's so deep, because we're finally getting to a depth that's why cutting cords, all of these things don't work, because the inner work has to work. And I have spent 2-3 hours a day for months sitting in this space, every day crying, every day meeting my little girl, every day facing these traumas, every day, because there've been trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because it's a lot of what I do with my healing work. I do the same kind of thing where we talk about stuff like this, you know, and then I clear it for them. But I think maybe I took this on to learn how to be the strong, the responsible one, the strong one, the one that's going to go out and do things, but also to always be more the mother, more the feminine. I had to tone it down from the masculine and embrace the feminine part of it. So be a strong feminine, not a strong masculine.
And I feel actually, when you come into that, you'll see you've had to take from your father to your mother to balance what was imbalanced in them.
Yeah.
So now yours has been slightly imbalanced. That's why this, now you have the choice and the response to the call from within, their responsibility of this now, to vision, to then take the step in that balanced way, that you became your own protection. You became your own mother. So it's your own divine father, divine mother in you that you are, and you don't need to protect yourself anymore. You are.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's almost as if I've taken the best qualities of both of them and blended it.
Yes. Yeah. And you also have taken the qualities of their fears in you. So now you release them consciously. Not anybody. I'm not doing this for you, sister. You're doing it yourself, because you're the one who has to walk, not me. But being aware, you are taking that power in you.
Yeah.
That's what you help others, but you being able to see it within you. I'm able to assist you now, but what I've been able to do inside of me. So now you get to do it for you.
Right.
And very empowering. So let me ask you a question now. I want you to look at your plate once again. Tell me about your plate. How does your plate now look? What do you sense, see, feel?
It still feels like that, you know, it's like different parts of my life. But they don't feel like as heavy. They feel like kind of just like choices, and like things are going to be worked out, but just like a daily thing, like, you know, something's gonna, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to go here, go there? You know, that kind of thing. So it seems more manageable, I guess. You know, like it's not as much of a roadblock. Yeah.
Okay, great. So now I'm going to invite you, because this is so beautiful because we can feel there's been a transformation already, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I want to take you to one more place if you allow me.
Okay.
So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to look in front of you. You are holding a tray, a plate, but like make it a big tray. And from here now, I'm going to ask you, let the little Jacqui choose what color tray this is. Tell me right.
Green.
Perfect. Tell me how many other, like, let's say bowls are in there. What color they
are. Yellow.
Uh-huh.
And
make sure she's choosing it because she's excited to choose.
Yeah, I see all different colors. So, but I see yellow and pink and yeah, just like all red and orange, all that.
Perfect. Now have her choose, okay, inside of them what she wants to see in there.
What she wants to see.
Full inside this plate.
Now, does it have to be food or anything?
Listen, it's anything. She's choosing. So, but this is you. So this is your plate right now. So you're the fighter. So now she's gonna come in because she's out of the closet and she's gonna bring the plate to this. So I want you to now move into the excitement and joy. Oh my God, what's she putting in there? Let her lead with her joy.
Okay. So she's 8 or 9. Not
Jacqui. I want her. You gotta let her come. Take that. So don't take. You step aside. Let her carry that. Oh my God, what's she putting in there? Yeah, good. That's what I want. Tell me. Go for it.
All right. I saw something sweet, like cookies or something, candy. I saw some crystals. I saw some paint.
Yeah.
Creative things like clay, paint, stuff like that.
What about glitter, sparkling things?
Yeah. Lots of like art and craft kind of stuff. But I did see some, you can't fit an animal in a thing, in a cup, but something with animal, maybe little play animals, you know?
Like figurines?
Yeah, figurines, yeah. Yeah. Glue.
Yeah. Good. Excellent.
Yeah, clay, glue, like markers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like it looks like a lot of art supplies.
Perfect. You
Creative.
like her tray?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Yeah, that's the things I need to do, you know, on a daily basis.
Okay, well, I said, how does it make you feel? Just right now, how does it make you feel seeing, not do? No, we're letting go of responsibility.
Right.
Listen?
Right.
Right there. How does it make you feel?
Yeah, it just makes me feel happy because it's like a lot of the things that I like.
There you go. So it brings you happiness, brings you joy. It's light. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Now, you can open your eyes for me, Jacqui. Why I want you to do that? Because when you look at your plate now, I would like to invite your plate to be her plate.
Yeah.
Ask it not, because then you're excited.
Yeah.
How are you gonna? One of the bowls that, let's say it's got like the sweet, let's say the sweets in it, right? And that's the sweetness of, let's say, rising phoenix. You know, the way how sweet it is, you know. So each of them represents what is here. And
Right.
it's the way that you get to, it's the lightness of her, because she's the Holy Spirit. You know that. Let her show you the way. And
Right.
you then take it, because then you can see, okay, well, this one I can, because she ain't gonna have any problem. Okay, this bowl, I'm gonna put it out of my tray. This one I'm gonna put out of tray. No, I'm gonna put this one. She got no problem with that.
Right.
Let me do it, because now you can easily experience what to do with the dog and the rising phoenix, what to do with the house. It's like this now, because there's no there's no, how do I say, like clutter in there.
Yeah.
You see, because it's just staying clear, like, because your vision is not clear. You can see where this was coming. Now you have the choice to choose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a
Yeah.
lot of times we can't choose because we're just the stuck energy, because we can't see. But once we see, the awareness has kicked in, then is the authentic choice. And you can choose to really honor you,
Mm-hmm.
honor the all of you, not just a part of you.
Right.
See, connected with your inner child that is here to lead the way through the path of joy. Because
Yeah.
you're very naturally joyful. But it's that sustained anchored joy in your body, not in separation of your holy temple, together with your holy temple as the
Mm-hmm.
living Christ.
Right.
That's what this is all about, you know. As it, when we meet this, it opens up, it untangles. Does it seem and feel like this knot untangled in you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, um, yeah, it's a little less,
Yeah.
yeah, clunked up.
And
Yeah.
there's more in this that will show up. So then
Mhm.
your responsibility would be then, this just showed up in my field. Let me sit with it. Let me breathe into it. Let me see. Let me go back again. Because you're going to keep going back to there. What was happening at that time that is being carried to here?
Mhm.
Every single day I'm here, Jacqui. Every day. I haven't missed a day. Because it
Yeah.
shows up in my field. I'm like, let me pause. Let me breathe. Let me go sit back in.
Right. I know.
And the 30 days journey that I'm doing with this presence meditation, these individuals that are part of every morning 6:30, we get to sit in silence first and then tune in with the frequency of this crystalline light,
Mhm.
as we're taking them, it's exactly this space.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, this is really great. I can't, but a little part of me is like, why did it take so long to understand this? But I mean, because I've uncovered pieces of it, but I never put it together that way. That I was keeping myself closeted up. you know.
Doing this now. And even for me, like, because I've done meditations for 30 years. I'm 49 at 30 years. What I'm experiencing with this is, I mean, the amount of deep healing work you and I have done so much. Whew, deep healing work
I know.
is very different, because finally we have to be in the body. And now we're ready to
Mhm.
be not just in the thought field, in this light, but it's got to come in as a living, breathing
Right.
anchor. Like, there's no separation from our, so there's no more, well, I want to do this. There's no more, listen, business, the dog, and it's not, that shifts, because it's your call, your service. You
Mhm.
are getting compensated, all of that, but it's your calling to serve from your joy,
Mhm.
So it's not the burden. So you see which one is carrying burden. I was
Mhm.
hearing you, like, right now, the dog thing is carrying burden, because the energy is different now.
Mhm.
And in this space,
Mhm.
it lets you see, okay, can I now honor what my real truth is and not
Mhm.
be no,
Mm.
I'm supported. No, my higher being has my back. That I am both. I've had to develop, but now I can live properly in both harmonized, not from my mother, not from my father, but from me.
Right, right,
That's
right.
all the choice in you. And why we didn't do this before, because truly I feel we weren't ready to fully take it, because then we're not even standing anymore, Jacqui. We're sitting in the truth of it. There's no fighting for it. There's no, there's none of that. We just,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Um, but plus I think it probably sets my parents free too, a little bit with this.
And your brother, and
Yeah.
your brother,
Yeah.
and everyone else, like all the people that are connected to this, from let's say the dog to the rising phoenix,
Mhm.
something wants to expand, but that expansion is also when you wants to expand. But will you allow it?
Right.
Expansion that it's already included in love, all of that
Mhm.
wants to. This person came. So there's, you're writing here, there's things that are being brought into your field for you to choose, but really choose
Mhm.
because you are capable, because you can, and because fear is not leading the way.
Right. Right.
Joy, play,
Mhm.
that happiness is now leading the way.
Yeah. And it's funny because over once COVID and all that, COVID was like such a great thing. I mean, I never had so much fun. It was such a great blessing because everything slowed down at the dog daycare, and it was just like, you know, and so I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying. And that's why when it started back up again, I was like, wait a minute, maybe we don't want to do this,
Yeah.
you know, and
But also, but also look, isn't it also true that we keep ourselves so busy because we don't want to feel what is inside?
mhm.
But you got to open up
Guilty.
that,
Yeah,
because now you will sit in here. You're not
yeah,
going to, because
right.
she wants to say to you,
Yeah,
time to also, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. And I've done inner child work, but never this much, like to this degree. But um, so lately I have been like, they've been showing me, I guess, bits and pieces. And
yeah,
so I I'm like, okay, what does it look like if I let the daycare go or pare it down or get somebody to run it or whatever? And then what does it look like if I'm at, Rising Phoenix all the time? And um, I thought that would be great, right? And then I thought, well, wait a minute. What if I what if I find something that I can do and get rid of both, like with the RV, and just not work at all, just serve, but in a different way to where I'm more free. So then I started, even, which I've never thought about before, not working. That wasn't a comfortable thought. But I'm even starting to think that way, like maybe I can just.
what if what that piece is coming, let me have you step back a little bit. So it's not the physical location that you can, you give yourself permission, instead of this idea of the third dimensional consciousness that's tied to the parent and programming of working to survive, that your beingness and your service is fully compensated, and you can, let's say, be an RV, drive, have fun, still have crystals, maybe have a dog and enjoy, and you will also be provided for. So there's that possibility. So you're opening up a door of possibility, and that this is really the key. And the way is not to think it. You can't think the stories. You have to say, how does it feel? So if I How does it feel if I close? You'll know it right away. If you say, let me look at it, you're not allowing your body involved. Okay, so I'm gonna have you do something. Close your eyes, because you have to get the body involved. Up until now, the body is not involved. We're gonna have the body involved. So, okay, I want you to close your eyes, Jacqui, and tell me tomorrow or next week, end of June, whatever, or 2 weeks, you close the dog business. It's done. Okay, it is finito. Okay, how does it feel in your body?
Well, I have to be honest. I mean, I still have a little bit of that panic, kind of.
Okay. Well, where is that? Tell me a few things coming up. Just, but I want you to tell me in the body. Tell me because it's very important in the body.
Okay, in the body.
Not your head, none of that. Feeling, body.
The body didn't really have any strong reaction. It just felt kind of the same, calm.
Okay.
Yeah, which is good.
Okay, so let's do this.
The mind.
Yeah. So that's the ego. That's not your truth. That's why that's the one and that's not your truth. So
right.
What I'm going to have you do now, I want you with your eyes closed. I'm going to really invite you breathe in. I want you to be in your body because you're just going to notice the subtle thing. So I'm going to invite you. You've closed let's say you've chosen to close the doggy business. You tell everybody, okay, I'm closing. I'm choosing to only have rising phoenix. My energy goes to rising phoenix, and I don't work every day, but I'm there. I get to still have some freedom to do what I also want to do and play, and I'm also, there's a lot more business coming in and all of that. Just let me know what's happening in there in your body, and what's happening.
Yeah, it feels calm. It doesn't feel like triggered in any way. It just feels calm, and it just feels a little more expansive.
Okay.
A little more free. Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to have you still close your eyes. So I'm going to have you, okay, visualize there's this fabulous RV. Oh my goodness, it's exactly the way you feel giddy about. Okay, and that you have not renewed your lease for Rising Phoenix. You very, very graciously have said you've decided to move forward, and you've been able to close the center very, very easily. The doggy business very easily. You still have your home, and you have this. And the freedom, you've set it up with network and camera and all of that, and also like a healing bed in there somewhere. And then you can travel to the places you like. Tell me what's happening in your body. What do you sense? What do you feel?
It's funny, my body started leaning to the left.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, it feels it actually feels calmer than having Rising Phoenix. It just feels extra calm. More calm.
Okay. Beautiful. So the feeling is the key. The feeling of, if there's calm, there's also joy, there is all of those things that really feed you, because those are the ones we feel: light, love, joy, peace. All of those are the feelings associated and connected with your highest self, highest truth. Worry, anxiety, all of that are not. And that's how you know which direction to take, because your feeling will tell you, and you experience it very quickly. So not what would it look like,
Mhm.
what would it feel like?
Yeah, and see,
And she's you're trying to merge
Mhm.
the little Jacqueline back in here that has been out of the picture for a while.
Yeah, because I like what you said at the beginning about starseeds turning off their body connection, because I think that's why I haven't been able to feel for so long. Remember, I told you, I think when I first met you and Michael, I said, I don't feel the crystals. I love them. I want to pick them up all the time, but I don't feel them, and I don't feel like energies and stuff like that in my body and stuff. So
Has to protect. It covers the emotional body, covers, so it is just protection from the trauma. But once you open this door, now your little Jacqueline is safe to be with you. She's out of that closet. You got to see her every day, especially in that house she grew up. She's outside playing, not sitting there listening to mom and dad. This is very much so you're rewriting the software. So she's vibrating that vibration now. She's free, she's playing with the crystals, rock, coloring with the brother,
yeah,
chasing the frog. It's that.
right, right, okay,
You're in,
okay, okay.
Yeah. And
So I'll visualize that every day.
yeah, so I have a little picture of my little child here, like my very young 6 month old, and like my 7-year-old, whatever, 6 year, that all the traumas around that. And then I have, so there's something in this now that connects with her,
Okay,
So so every day you're connecting with her.
okay.
So that way you can begin to feel and
Mhm,
feel and
mhm,
feel and feel and feel the way.
mhm.
Guess what's here? She's here to help you, show you, because that's the more authentic vibration.
Right, right, okay, wow.
She's the Holy Spirit,
Mhm.
because it's so
Yeah.
pure and it's unafraid and it's so clear, and
It's just so
yeah.
amazing to me to think that my childhood was not really that bad. I mean,
Yeah.
but something like this, I have walled myself up, put myself in the closet, and done all this stuff just over this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it wasn't even, I can't even imagine like your childhood and other people's that have been so riddled with abuse, So it's like, wow.
So then you can see, then when you meet people like us, like if we open up, like, oh wow, like just know how much, and I'm still going through it, like my God, but I mean it's horrific sometimes what we actually signed up to experience. So it gives you incredible amount of compassion and even more of the divine mother energy that
Right.
many more need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm so
And
glad we
you,
did this. And I'm so glad I felt a little guilty when Michael said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I'm really feeling like I want to do something with honey. Now I know why.
but you see the thing, and I was like, okay, I said I'm gonna tell her because I'm in a whole different place from last year, but
Yeah.
like, and I knew this would, but I needed, again, there's that self honor, like, okay, I need to, take her to this place of where I've been navigating, and then I've been navigating from others who are in this space. And one of the biggest one has been with, of course, Michael. Oh my gosh, like all that sort of, so of course he grew up in all love, like you, with a hippie family,
Mhm.
all of this, like just like none of this. But girl has stuff really come up. Oh my goodness, like, and
Yeah.
especially this 30 days has been something, the 30 days. So it's 6:30 in the morning. We get to sit
Yeah. Wow.
and read. Yeah. And I would love for you to take part the second series. It's in July. If
Okay.
you're up to it, let me know. That means no service to anything else, but first you, and then.
Right.
So we fill our cup first. by the
Right.
presence. Feed every part of us,
Mm-hmm.
every part of us
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
is starting the day. It is a wow.
Yeah. What other things should I do going forward other than seeing my little girl every day playing and all that? Should I do any journaling with her or anything, or you think we're good? We got it.
Tell you, talk to her,
Okay.
talk to
All right.
her. The door
Okay.
is now open.
Okay.
Hey, so what do you want today? Sometimes I have my hair put like this. Sometimes I put like one, I have a unicorn one. Like she'll tell me, and I'll just do it. Like it, whatever. Like, and she'll tell me sometimes, okay, eat. I can feel. She's like, I want to eat that. I'll let her. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
she's out. She's all out. She's not hiding. She's all out. Let
Right.
her.
Good.
Yeah. And let me
Yeah.
know what happens. And I will. I feel like maybe in a couple months, I'm going to revisit with you again. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
your
So.
only responsibility really is to when things show up in your field, to just pause for a minute. Notice if it showed in your outer field, because boom, right away it's stored somewhere there. And your job is to sit with it, but you sit, it's the emotion that you got to sit with, because it's the energy, whether it's sad, whether it's frustration, whether it's mad, whether it's anger, whether it's joy, whether it's pure excitement, all the whole range. When it shows up and there's a some kind of something shows up, like reaction, something, it goes
Mhm.
back there. And you got to then create this step. I usually just drop everything and I go into my breath and I sit with it and I sit with it. Then it starts to untangle because it starts to then reveal itself to me. Whatever the energy, because like let's say sadness, it goes to this, okay, it tied to this, it tied to that. Okay, I see. So I see when I was a child, this was happening. Now it's played out here.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
see? And it's
Right.
continuing.
Right.
And then she feels lighter and lighter. Your energy feels lighter, and things start to open up more and more in your outer field,
Right.
not tangled, untangled, more untangled, because the fascia system is is open, and the light stream, God streaming through you easier and easier.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Are you taking any other appointments? You know, I
Now
mean,
I
for
am,
the-
because now I have so many. I mean, I have people waiting and all of that, and my energy is that the thing is, has been like, how can I, you know, let me just, before we go into that, I want to have, how you feeling? Because I want to wrap this part up and then we can talk for a minute. So how
yeah.
do you feel now? Tell me from a scale of 0 to 10. 0, like nothing, 10, like incredible, amazing. From before we started the session and now we are ending this session, where are you? How do you feel?
Well, I'm getting better at feeling every day.
You are.
But I do. I've had a lot of like ahas and connected dots and all that. So I just feel, a lot lighter and basically I think, and like, I guess more hopeful and more like feeling like there's possibilities, there's choices that I can make that don't feel as scary. That kind of thing. So it's really great. I saw it immediately as soon as you said I forget what the first one was, but I was like, what that just came out of my mouth. So I'm so grateful to you for pointing it out and doing this. I love it. I'm so grateful.
It's
So
beautiful
wonderful.
because the answers are already in there. I'm glad your own self, you can tell, like if you feel like lighter, like your breath as you're speaking, it doesn't feel like, well, you can tell right away it's shifted. It's just the
Yeah.
frequency that's shifted. It doesn't feel heavy in your feet. And I can see within your bodies, there's more air flowing in there. It's not like, because it's open up. Like, and that's that internet of
Yeah.
web. It's open because it's open in your body. I
Yeah.
can't explain how important it is in your body. Every day I've been going for a walk. Doesn't matter temperature, just for a walk, just this body has to move.
Yeah.
If I were to say one more thing, you haven't done qigong for a while, but if that's one, bring it back. Create that space so you can be more in the body, because we have to ground this frequency into our body,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it's all coming in. It's coming, and then it's coming in this field, and then it's got to come in here. We're housing
Right.
it. Right.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned the breath, because I took some online class, I don't know, months ago, and she would just watch, you would just move around and she'd watch you move and show you what you needed to do. And she said, stop holding your breath, breathe.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize I was doing it. She's like, you're holding your breath. You do it all the time. You need to just let it out.
I don't know you're going to be doing it anymore, because it's the clarity kicked in, the awareness got in, and that you gave yourself by
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't feel that.
That's wonderful.
That.
I'm
Well,
so
I love you so much, and I'm so grateful to the divine creator and divine perfection, just the way it works. Like,
yes.
and
Yeah.
that's what we are. We do our own inner, then we come and then we just assist each other just like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Really cool. And because it's the same one spirit in all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you so much.
You're so hang in there for me for a minute. Let me just